Let's talk about building an agent team.
Today on the Wandering But Not Lost podcast. This is the Wandering But Not Lost WBNL podcast, where real estate and reality meet. And now your hosts, Jan O'Brien and Matt Emerson. Well, welcome to the WBNL Wandering But Not Lost podcast, where real estate and reality meet. This is episode 100. No, not 100 anything. It's 202 for crying out loud. 202. And you can find all of our show notes over at WBNLpodcast.com. Jan O'Brien, it's been a hot minute since we've talked about teams, and I think it's time we do it again.
Yeah, it definitely is, since I'm knee deep in the middle of really working on that again.
Right.
Back here in Nevada. As a matter of fact, recording from temporary quarters in the lovely state of Nevada, Las Vegas region.
Love having you on the West Coast, same time zone. Matter of fact, it was really funny. Last night I was going to text you. I thought, oh, God, it's way too late to text Jan. But it wasn't. It was 3 hours sooner, so that was perfect.
Yeah, sometimes in life you have to explore the possibilities, and that's why we're talking. This is why we thought it would be great to talk about this, because I am looking at refocusing on my team here in Nevada. I'm still licensed out in Florida, and I may switch things up a little bit and keep building the team here and do more referral business in Florida. I don't know. That's where I'm kind of in the middle of deciding. And because of the topics we're going to cover here today on this episode and next week, we're going to give a fresh look to what it takes to really maintain a team, build a team. Do you want a team, right? And because that's
some real stuff that you are doing that will kind of help people,
exactly,
in their business as well. And Jan O'Brien, for crying out loud, back in Vegas, you got your Ducks again, and I mean Golden Knights. I know it's not the Ducks, and the Raiders. And if the freaking Oakland A's move to Las Vegas, all of my hometown teams have now moved to Vegas. That is very bad.
Well, that's just a sign, Matt, that it should be maybe your new home.
Yeah, well, no, I didn't. Hey. I didn't live in Oakland either. So there you go.
Listen, that's a real thing that's coming up. I guess I don't know if it's going before the people of Oakland on whether or not they're going to pay for that new stadium. And if not,
exactly. I think it's sometime soon. Like in the next couple weeks. I was just reading about it a couple days ago.
The feeling is they're not going to vote it in.
Right.
So we very much could have the Oakland A's coming here, and there's already talks of where they're going to put that. Plus, they're building a new. There's so much happening in Vegas; it's nuts. It's like It's crazy. Of course, the price. We don't want to. We can't go down that path right now. That would be a whole other podcast, because we really do want to talk about team building today.
Yeah, and there's got to be at least 7 reasons to move to Vegas, right?
And we're working on that. We're really focused on doing videos, short and long form, and trust me, I'm digging deep into it and rediscovering the things that I really like about Las Vegas. And there's always things you don't like about any city, right?
Jan and Cosmo have been doing a lot of experimental work on TikTok to unlock the keys to TikTok for real estate agents, which we'll be sharing with you once we do. So we will leave the URL to the TikTok. What are they called? Channels over there? What are they called? Just your profile?
Your channel, or
we'll leave it on the show notes so you can go check them out.
Living Las Vegas. That's us on TikTok.
That's right.
All right, let's go talk about teams. So we're going to do this in 2 episodes. We're going to talk about a couple things today, and then I want to carry it on in our next episode, where we'll dig a little deeper in. So we're going to kind of have 4 topics that we'll cover over the next 2 episodes. The best way to do it, right? So are you ready to build a team? And I always start with this, because I would say the majority of my team leaders who have hired me to coach them have come because they jumped into team building before they were really ready.
Yep.
And they had all these classic things happen to them, and then they went looking for a real estate coach or training, right? So we want to help you if you haven't built a team and you're thinking about it. We want to talk a little bit about that first part here today, as we record this. And let's discuss, what does it mean to be ready? The things that I think you have to be clear. And by the way, we have a completely free intro to agent team building, right, Matt?
That's right.
It's over at WBNL Coaching in our freebies area. There's 12 strategic tips. So it's 12 different videos where I'm walking through some of the things I'm talking about today and in our next episode, but just really helping you. I mean, I really recommend getting it. It's free, right? Get it so that you can watch these 12 videos and get a sense of what it's going to take to do it. And we're going to really focus on that with maybe some updates on what we're doing and how we're handling things and how we have, kind of found our niche, if you will, on the way we're doing our team. So this is the most important thing. First things first, you have got to have your own house in order first. And by that, I mean, if you do not have clear business systems and processes and checklists, which Matt, find most people don't. Most real estate are great salespeople. It's all up in their head. They don't necessarily want to have an assistant. Many do have an assistant. I shouldn't say that, but they basically just know what to do, right? And I kind of fell into this trap going out into Florida. Now, what made me be smarter and follow my own coaching advice is that I didn't know all the ins and outs of Florida specific real estate. So I had to create my own checklist and use that. And I frankly am doing it back here in Vegas as well, because you can forget things. It's complicated what we do in this business. We just talk about working with buyers and sellers. Do you have a process A to Z, like a checklist that you use, or is it in your head just because you've been doing it forever and you know? So get all that stuff out of your head and get your business systems in place. I'm going to talk about that today, what I mean by business systems. And you have to be really clear, what is your purpose for building a team? So that takes a little soul searching, a little sitting down and going, why do I want to build a team? Because if we could briefly talk about what the pros and cons of building a team are, the pros, obviously, if everything's in order and you're ready for a team. Like I said, we'll make that assumption that you're ready for a team because you listen to some of the things we're going to teach you and that we do in that course. And of course, we have a team builder program with everything in it that you need from the ground up. But if you, let's just say that, to talk about the pros, if you have all that in place, what are the pros? Well, you really can leverage additional people bringing in income for you. All right. And more on that in a minute, because that's really what we've been doing with this team. We haven't been Cosmo all in doing our sales ourselves, just a little bit. Our team has been doing that, and that has brought in additional income for just managing the team, right? And helping them and providing value, which is the other thing that you're going to have to do. So you have to be clear about that. So the pro is leveraging additional income because you only have so much time in the day. It's going to help obviously in your market share and your rankings because you're going to be able to add more of that, right? You may be the kind of person like I am that you really enjoy helping other people and coaching them. So that's a pro, right? So and I do think if you also, in this day and age, there's so many teams, it's all in how you present it to your clients. You can show clients what's the benefit that you have a team in this group.
Yeah, and there's other things too. Depending on how many people you have on your team, you can convert more buyer leads into closed transactions, right? It's going to give you more time, right? Your ability to delegate.
What I was just going to say. It can allow you to move into a position where you pick and choose what you do. You have people working, and not so much you do less transactions and replace it with your team, but maybe you find a little bit more balance, so you're not working 24/7, right? So
but also because usually when you're a solo agent, you are your sole brand ambassador. It allows you to expand your brand as well. So you're going to have other little minions out there expanding your brand.
Yes,
so there's a lot of good pros to it.
Depending on your team model too, you may have, we'll get to the models here. We're going to talk a little bit about team models today. So, and then the cons then are going to be, if you're not ready to build a team, then you're going to have frustrations. The biggest con is for most people who don't like it is that they don't really enjoy managing other people. Right. They don't want to have to coach and train, which is what folks need, some support systems. That's why they would come onto your team. Otherwise, if they're like you, they're going to go do it like you. There's a huge population of real estate agents that do better in a team environment if it's the right fit. So you have to deal with people issues, and it can be a time suck in the beginning while you're putting all these things in place and you're trying to find the right fit. So
and then it's the turnover, right? That's the biggest con.
The turnover. It can be turnover. It's a good point. Depending on your goals for your team, you always have to be in the mode for. People may not stay with you forever, so you have to have that mindset of being a mini broker, or how do you attract people? And we're going to talk about that next week. How do you attract people and retain them, right? So that's the first things first. So now let's say that you've decided you want to venture into that. Let's go on and let's talk about the first two critical keys to building a team. Number one is kind of deep, but we'll just cover a little bit of it today, meaning that you have to hire talented people to keep positions. So what I really want to focus on first is I really recommend that if you're an agent who's closing 2 to 3 transactions a month, your first hire should be an assistant.
Yep.
And backing up from that, if you have the ability to use a transaction coordinator, maybe your company has a TC, you could find a TC that works only when you get, there's independent TCs out there, companies that you hire them and you pay them on a closing, so you're not coming out of pocket. That's step one, right? To start taking some things off your plate that are administrative to free you up to do more business. This is a solo agent. And then moving into an admin assistant who maybe can be TC. I've seen people use the company TC and then hire an admin to help them with all the other administrative stuff, getting ready to go on an appointment, handling the paperwork, getting it uploaded. If they're licensed, they can help you with so many things. So you can truly be a team with you and assistant, especially if they're licensed. I consider that a team. Team is two people who are licensed, working in the same entity as a
and really and truly, if you hire an assistant and you're doing things right and you kind of get the hang of what's going on there, you should be able to double your business at least if you just do that. So that's a way to get putting your toe in the pool, and then you can hire people after that. So hiring assistants is absolutely, I would say, is the number one thing you should do.
Now, the other benefit for those of you that are not all ready to handle what I'll talk about next, which is the systems, hiring a person that is going to help you with your personal business, whatever that looks like, administratively, transactions, but also, a good assistant has the skill set for being organized and handling all those administrative tasks, and they like that. These are all the things about hiring. And by the way, in our training program, we have a complete module dedicated to how to hire the system that we use and train and have successfully used to hire the right people, come in as an administrative help. So this person, if they're the right person, can help you put the business systems in place that you might not have. So maybe you don't have those checklists and those processes and what you do from A to Z for everything, so that you are building your operations manual. We really believe in having an operations manual for a couple of reasons. One, it helps you create those checklists, standard procedures, because people come and go. You hire an assistant and maybe a year later you need a new one. Wouldn't it be great to have the new assistant come in and maybe work with your old assistant, but also have a ops manual that says, here's how you do all the tasks that I need you to do. So that needs to get built out. And if you're not going to have time to do that, then your assistant can help you. I've seen so many people do that. So what I like about that is the first key person. And then if you're going to build a big team, you may want, or you already have a team and you're ready to expand, I think a team manager is the other key hire. Because you need, in my case, Cosmo and I, when we first connected, he came and joined my team. We had a couple other people, and then it very quickly morphed into he became more of the manager of the other people on the team, and then we became partners. So it's a transition that I've seen happen, and it's happened with me. Started out as a new agent, kind of moved into helping manage the other people. And then we decided to co-brand and co-partner, right?
And if you are really thinking the long term and the big picture, and you hire somebody as your admin assistant that you can actually provide a career path for and help them move up into your organization, give them ownership of building out your systems and your ops manuals and all of that kind of stuff, and then they can be training the people that come in below. I mean, it's a win-win all the way around, and a win for them especially.
And I've lived through it, and I've helped many people do it, and it definitely can work. And then when you have those two key positions, and you don't need the team manager if you're not going to build a big team,
right?
But hiring the right admin or licensed person, that person also, I call it a hybrid person. They can kind of be the admin to start with, but they ultimately can move to become your team manager if you're going to grow, and even your partner, and if they're somebody that could be your exit strategy. If you're in a position like me, trying to work for the next 5 to 7 years and then maybe not work as much, it's easy to transition if you have a partner or you have somebody you can turn it over to, right?
Which, by the way, is another huge pro of building a team, that whole exit strategy piece, which you can have as a solo agent too, but as a team, it can be really, really beneficial.
Absolutely, especially if the systems are duplicatable and people can come and go.
That's right.
And you can just plug the next, agent in that, and you have a system that works the way you generate leads, the way you handle it. Yeah, totally great. So that's the first one. And then the second one is you've got to have these key business systems in place. And just very briefly, what I mean by this is you have a business plan and goals for you and your team. So it starts with you, and then you would, have goals around the team, like what's your personal production numbers and what are your personal goals and business goals, and then what do you see your team doing? then the next one beyond that is really critically, what do you do from A to Z? What I like to call, what we call it, WBNL, is BDA, before, during, and after, right? You have processes before, during, and after for your buyers and for your sellers. And so everything in between, there's a ton of stuff to talk about in that, but that's all the stuff that can be systemized. What do you do to stay in touch with your database, your sphere of influence, your past clients? We have so much content, free content on all that over on our YouTube channel. I mean, my goodness, we pretty much cover everything if you just go to our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And then, beyond that, it's your online presence. Are you getting reviews, social media? Have you chosen a social media channel? Are you focusing on, how you're marketing, to your financial systems and so forth, to run the team, the administrative systems and the things that you're doing, so that you're really running it like a business. Those are the key systems I'm talking about. It takes work. If you're winging it, it's going to be sit down, start working on these things one by one, and get it in place. And then you're just tweaking, and this is how you're building the operations manual that I'm talking about. Now, why this is all important is because when you hire your team members, they're going to plug into what you already have.
That's right.
We're not like bringing team members on and creating new systems for them. In fact, when I work with someone, I am 100% helping them, if they haven't had a team before, say, okay, let's put your listing system in place. Let's make all the decisions. Let me help you walk through how you're going to handle, can agents do listings? If they bring a listing in, how should you handle that? Are you providing certain things? Who's doing the marketing? Are you co-branding? These are all the big decisions you have to make. And so as you're deciding all of this, which then becomes the type of team, it's kind of interesting, Matt. It's like it starts coming together like a big puzzle piece, right? Because you've got to make, you don't know what you don't know until you start jumping into it. And this is what we do in our training program and in our coaching, to be able to help you figure that out. And even when you figure it out now, you may decide, like I have over the years, it's gone from let me do it this way to now we're doing it in a different way, because
Right.
That's what makes sense for us. But you got to start somewhere, and systems are critically important for the reasons I'm saying, but also so you can attract the kind of person who is going to be an extension of you, because that's what's important. You don't hire just anybody. You got to go through a hiring process to get people who have similar values, similar core values, and can jump in. And I'll give an example of this. So for our team now, living in Las Vegas and Henderson, we are all in on video. Okay, so YouTube and shorts. So shorts on YouTube, TikTok, as Matt was just mentioning, and we repurpose our TikToks and select TikToks, and they go on Reels on Instagram, and they go back on Shorts. But our two primary areas of wanting to that we're putting into our business to develop, find people who can know, like, and trust us is through video. Right now, we do other things when we have listings and so forth, but that is our primary focus for sharing and how we show that we're the local market experts. Right.
Well, it's your predominant prospecting tool.
It is,
because once they turn into prospects, they go right back into the normal routine of everything else.
They do, but what we're finding as we're having some success in a couple sectors is that because some of the videos are performing well, and particularly in our Vicky in Pahrump, she is getting a ton of business based off of just literally one video that she's done,
right? Because
there's no competition for Pahrump, but it's the way she's coming across. People are just reaching out to her, and she's already, I think we've closed one. We have a couple more in escrow now, all from a video. So, and it's what happens is that people are saying, I want to work with you. Okay, so everyone is talking about video. We've been talking about video forever, and there's a difference between
right.
doing it and talking about it. Now, to be committed, and I'm coming back to how this has changed our team. To be committed to doing video requires the skill set, the willingness to outsource if you need help, especially on the long form, and the commitment to get up and do it every day. But honestly, it's like I always say, Matt, if I was going to be the expired queen, I would have to have a system that I worked every single day. That's right. And I would kill it with expireds. That's what we're doing currently, and we're starting to have in here. To be honest, we weren't doing it consistently previously. We let's go do it. And we're like most people, you get busy, and then you're kind of doing it, and then you away from it. So we're committed to that, and we're already getting results, and we know that that's what we're doing. Now, here's the
I'm
point.
looking forward to, and with the whole video concept, and I know that you have a bigger plan and see the bigger picture on all this with the team, your team. But I think a lot of people, if they start having success with video, will forget all of the rest of the process, and they will not follow up with their clients. They will not have clients for life. They will do all the things that they will not do that because they're going to be excited they have stuff coming on the front end. And I have to say again, all of that video is prospecting, right?
It is.
You still have to take care of your clients once they're your clients. And I fear, well, actually, it's going to be good for us because we're real estate coaches.
Yeah.
That I fear that the customer service part of it is what's going to start hurting with a lot of these people.
It's interesting that you say that, because I feel so far what we've discovered is that we're connecting with people better than a cold lead, which we used to win on Facebook, and we're building relationships, and then they're ready to go buy, but we already have the systems in place to take care of them.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But that's my point. I totally get that. Of course, you're going to have a stronger connection. Of course, absolutely. But my point is, you still have to have the systems and everything in place to follow up and do all this stuff.
That's what we're talking about right here. BDA.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
That's before this. So this thing that I'm just sitting here talking about is, how do we do before they're ready to go buy a house, and we're using the medium of a platform like TikTok to develop that, and then turn people into, when they're ready, to go through the process for during and after. Great point. Now, where I was going with all this on having your systems in place and choosing where you're going is then this helps you discover who do you want to bring onto your team. So currently our team is about, whoever's on our team has to be okay with doing video. So we have a process, and we have a couple openings. We want to be able to cover all areas of the valley. So we've got Pahrump covered. We've got the Green Valley, kind of southeast area covered. We've got Northwest, Summerlin covered. So we're looking for people who want to go, all the growth is up north. So I'm looking for somebody who wants to work in that area. And here's the reality of real estate anymore, especially in larger metro cities, is that you have a tendency as a real estate agent to work where you live, right?
That's right.
Or you prefer to do that. If you're hungry, you're going to go all over the place, but that's just the nature. It's just like you choose your real estate office, maybe because it's close to your house or whatever. It's a common thing. So we have other parts of the valley to cover, but we're going to grow. That's not our priority right now, because we're focused on Cosmo and I are focusing more on being rainmakers, meaning we're jumping back in so that we can get listings and sales and support our team, and then ultimately look for new people. So that's what I've learned. But honestly, you can't jump onto our team unless you go through a process with us where you're going to be okay to, part of the hiring thing, and I'll talk about it next week, is going to be our process, and to give you ideas of how to do it based on when you know what your niche and stuff is someone's going to have to send us a video.
Yeah.
About why they want to be on our team, like a short video, and show us that they can do it.
Hey, Dan, you mentioned Rainmaker. So let's talk a little bit about the different kinds of teams that are available.
That's right. That's where we're going next. So I want to just walk through these. Okay. So it starts with what could be considered an informal team. And an informal team is nothing more than you have a bunch of leads that you're blowing off because, maybe you do Zillow and you pay for this or that, or you're generating business and you don't always follow up with it. I see a lot of this. So my definition of an informal team is simply, you go to your broker or you find an agent, and you're not ready to have them come join your team, and you just refer the business out and get a referral fee. Okay. Pros and cons to that. There's no control really. They're not on your team. If you get a good agent that's going to focus on your business, then great. I've seen it work really well, like your referral system, if you will. And some people are okay with this, Matt. They don't want to build a team, but they like the idea that they have one or two agents that they can refer business to and make an extra 25%. Totally nothing wrong with it, other than I find sometimes with this, the person you're referring to is going to put more priority on their own business if it came down to it.
Sure.
So just be aware of that. So that's an informal team. The next one is a partnership, and that's the Cosmo and I are a partnership. Matt Cosmo and I are a partnership. And so the keys to partnerships are, this means that you are co-team leaders, if you will. There's two or three of you, and the keys to that is you got to have an agreement. You got to talk through everything. You have to be super clear. Yours, mine, and ours is something I generally say. It's kind of like, is everything going to be 50-50, or do you do your database is separate than my database, and we're going to put 5 or 10% back into our marketing budget? All those details have to get worked out. we have a great agreement example, and we have a great checklist for all the things that you need to talk about as part of our real estate team builder program. So that's one of the things that you get in our full-blown program. So partnerships are awesome because you can bring in my opinion, a good partnership is like a marriage. There's you're not exactly the same. So there's strengths, and generally the person makes up the weaknesses that you have. And in like our case, Cosmo is like the master marketing person and understands all the latest tech, and he's younger. And I bring to the equation the experience and the being the broker and being that coach and style. And together we have a great balance of skills, right?
Learn from each other.
That's it. So the Rainmaker team, I was just referencing it. This is what you generally see around the country, and this is the agent single, or unless they're partners or team, co-team leaders. Let's just say with the individual agent, they're out doing business, and they really want to be able to, for all the pros that we just talked about, have a little more balance. They want to be able to leverage additional stuff, and they like helping other people, and they're perfect for a team leader. Then the Rainmaker team is just that, and it can be you are still primarily doing business, and I find a lot of Rainmakers are doing the listings, and they hand select the buyers. That's a common model, right?
Absolutely.
And then you hand off buyers, and maybe you do other lead generation to get more buyers, and you bring agents in, and they're not necessarily just buyers agents, because agents are going to know people who need to list their house, and those are all the details that you have to work out. And we'll talk about compensation and how different ways that you can figure out the way you structure your team. Once you choose the kind of team, then you can then further dig deeper into it. We'll talk about that in our next episode.
Yeah, I think if you look at a lot of teams that are out there, they were these mega listing agents that have turned around and I have too many buyers. I need some help. So
that Rainmaker refers to you're the Rainmaker. You're out there, the top producer, and then it inevitably leads to opportunities for more business, open houses. If you're a big listing agent, and your agents can hold open houses and generate more leads, you can advertise your listings and so forth. So that's the beautiful perfect storm of a Rainmaker team. Now the niche or specialty team is sort of taking that idea, but then I just described, I believe we're a bit of a niche or specialty team in that we're focusing on video. And we use all that video in the way we also market to sellers to show that we're leveraging technology and doing more video tours and other things that other agents aren't doing. But we're also geographic. That's what I was just referencing, right? But a niche or specialty can be, you're just a lead generation team, meaning like you are 100% generating leads, and you need to find agents to handle that. Now, there's some negatives that come with that, meaning people get burned out on leads, and that, like 50-50. Hey, join my team and I'm going to hand out 50-50 leads to you. So there's ways to manage that, because if you're an internet online lead generation team, for example, and you're buying leads and doing whatever, as I said, people may not stay with you for a long time, because if somebody's really good at that, then after a while they'll start getting repeat business, right? And so you either have to have, and I remember coaching a team one time where I helped her design an A and a B team. The A team was all leads, and then you could decide to move to the B team. And if you move to the B team, you could get a different maybe split to do your own business, and you might get not as many leads, but you could get leads, but the leads would also always be at 50-50, right?
Right.
So there's lots of ways to do that. Other specialty teams could be, you can you imagine having a team of agents with different specialties. Like you have not just geographic locations, you have somebody who is a first-time home buyers. They work with first-time home buyers, somebody who's really into the niche of working with seniors or military or high-rises, or you know what I'm saying, anything, luxury, beachfront property. You could be if you're in a beachfront location, you could be the team that specializes in luxury beachfront, and then you just hire people to that. So that's what I mean by niche or specialty, is that there's a lot of ways to go with it, but I think there's some power in having a niche, to be honest. So
yeah, and we have done a ton of video on finding your niche, and we'll put a couple of those video links up in the show notes, or up in just click the little icon above if you're watching on YouTube.
This is the creative part about team building, to kind of figure out, and as I said, it starts with you. You're not going to sit down and go, I've been primarily working with first time home buyers, but I guess I'm going to go be a luxury team. No, you're not. You need to go become a luxury agent first.
Yeah.
Then you can expand into the team. So it's about you. You're the center. The team is you. You and who you are and where you want to go with it and how you can augment that is where you have to go. And then traditional broker style team, we've talked and we've had Rich on the show and we've worked with Rich for years and he's our good friend. And we've been previous business partners. He is the epitome of the broker style team. Very unique, not for everyone. And honestly, what Rich created was really a brokerage within a brokerage. So
absolutely.
His whole model is I'm going to go into the schools. I'm going to make relationships with some of the local schools, and I'm going to go do a presentation, and I'm going to develop a value proposition to bring those folks in that provides coaching and training and like more one-on-one support that they might not get in a brokerage. And honestly, he got it to where he's maybe got 10 to 12 teams, and each team has a manager that manages anywhere from 10 to 20 people. And there's just literally a system in place, right?
He literally has more people on his team than most small brokers have, period. So, I mean, he really made that work. And it was no easy job. And it's an ongoing process like anything else. So
he's a brokerage. So what's the key to a brokerage? He has to always be recruiting.
That's right.
There's turnover, but he's got a very interesting model where they can grow they can have a career path through his system to become a new agent. They also help people figure out if real estate's for them. Remember, we talk about all the time, 10 people come into the business, only 2 or 3 are going to legitimately make it. Some are going to hang in there and just keep their license active. And then there's several in that 10 who just don't like it. So his model does that, but he has a track to become a manager in his team. He has different structures after you have so many closings that you can stay on his team and still get all the benefits of the things that he provides to his agent. And, it's all good, right? So but he always has to be finding more people. And that is the key to that one, right? And it's new and newer agents, which means you have to have some solid training in place.
Absolutely.
And support. Otherwise, this team will fail. All right. So that is the traditional broker style team. And then the expansion team lends itself, basically the Rainmaker or any of those last 3 teams. If you really have a goal of being able to expand to a different market area in your state or a different state, if you build the team that you're building the proper way and have that operations manual and have all those systems in place, and then where you are right now is your hub, then you can go duplicate that model in another location. Now there's keys to that. It really helps if you're inside of a franchise. That right. Can work. It doesn't have to be that way though. But you have to, the key is I just learned, getting licensed in Florida. My goal was to do this. It still is, but I've learned the hard way. There's a lot. I need to follow my own advice. There's a lot to it. My idea was, we have this small team. There's only like 4 people on our team right now here in Vegas, and I can help and manage it. And I did for a whole year from Florida while I started to get boots on the ground in Florida and learn the area, which I did. I closed like 10 deals in like 8 months. Okay. 7-8 months of focusing on it. However, the key to the expansion team, in my opinion, looking at it now, would be to find, especially if you're going to be like I want to be able to kind of go back and forth and be at a level where I can see it all and decide where I want to work. But you have to have somebody boots on the ground in that location. That ultimately, if you're going to build a team, is the team manager.
Right.
So partnering or finding someone that would be the key player, that then you show them how to do your systems. So you, as a team leader, find and train up on your systems and then start building that team. That's the way you do the expansion team. You just duplicate what you do in another market.
That's right.
So those are the types of teams, and there's variations within them. And then what we're going to talk about next is definitely, this is what I get all the time, right? What about contracts? What are the nuances that you should have in there? And then how do you pay people, right? So we'll talk about ways to compensate your assistant to agents, depending on the model that you have. And then finally, we want to talk about, now that you're really doing this and you're getting these things in alignment, how do you attract the right person or people to work with you? And then once you have them, how do you keep them? Right?
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Because that's the key in all of those, right? Making sure that you are keeping your people happy.
Yeah. So I love it. I mean, team building has always been my passion, and I'm really 100% focused on it now. I've always talked about it and had a little bit of a team, but now I'm really all in. I'm all in because my focus is really primarily on back in doing real estate sales and listings, and I'm having fun with it. And I want to help a few more people do the same thing.
And like we said earlier, we do have a couple different things that we'd like to offer up to you. First of all, we do have that intro course to team building. You can get that over on our website, wbnlcoaching.com, just /freebies, or go to the website and just click the freebies link in the menu at the top. So that is absolutely free. There are 12 modules to that. You get a lot of good information. And this really, we have a lot of people that will go through this course, do their soul searching, and then say, you know what? I like what I saw. I'm now going to go get their premier course, Real Estate Team Builder, which is also on our site. This is got over 12 hours of on-demand video that you're going to be able to watch. It really is. I think it's almost 100 videos. I forget how many are. There's a lot of video in this course, and over 110 documents, spreadsheets, systems, and everything you need to build that strong foundation that can be duplicatable, and all of the things that you need to build out your team. We've had, how long have we had Team Builder up and running now, Jan? 5 years? 6 years?
Maybe 6 years.
Yeah, it's 6 years.
And we updated it midway through.
A lot of happy customers from the Team Builder program. So go check that out. But, go get the free one first, because we don't even want you to get our Team Builder program if you're not ready to build a team. That's number one, right, Jan? If you're not ready, don't do it. It's a waste of your time.
Right on.
You're burning money. If you don't know if you really want to do it or not.
That's why we're revisiting this, because I think team building can be everything you want it to be if you're willing to put the time and effort into putting everything in place. And honestly, here's the beautiful thing about what we just talked about today, Matt, is that even if the part I was just talking about, business systems and getting clear about what your goals are, that's going to help you. If you decide you don't want to build a team, maybe you just want to hire an assistant, or maybe have like one person that helps you as a buyer's agent / assistant, you'll have your house in order. You will be more organized. You could leverage some time just by hiring one person to work with you, or just to partner with one person as an example. So you don't have to build some team.
That's right. It's funny you should say that, because I was putting together our email for our group, people that have purchased things with our through our coaching or purchased our products. And I had written almost exactly that, Jan, that even if you're not ready to build a team, Introduction to Team Builder is a great program to go through to get your own house in order, even if you're not going to do it. I mean, there's just such valuable information in there that everybody can benefit from. It's a great course. So go check it out.
You got it.
So Jan and Brian, any big plans for the weekend? Spring is definitely sprung. Is it 100 degrees in Vegas yet? Is it 100 degrees here today?
Is it really?
Yep.
No. It's Vegas has had surprisingly, I'm checking the weather right as we speak, 70, only going to be, it's been in the 80s last
so
week.
Maybe the heat's coming your way. I don't know, but
how are you having 100s in California?
100 degrees today, but tomorrow back in the 70s. So this is just a freak high pressure system that's going
80, 84, 87, then we're back to the 70s. And then a cold front's apparently coming in Tuesday.
Yeah, there is a cold front coming through. I love that.
Whatever. It's nice.
So I'm very happy when Monday rolls around and it's cool here again, because you know what? I don't mind the heat, but not on the 8th of April. Not my thing.
This is
bag.
This is the weather that I like in Vegas. The spring, the winter and the spring are. We just did a TikTok where one of the things I said was, you don't have 4 distinct seasons here. You have hot, really hot, cool, and a little bit colder. And that is literally what you have. So,
which is also literally the same weather pattern in Florida, except for you add humidity to it.
It's add humidity to that.
But that's the same thing. It's hot, hotter, cold, and a little bit colder. That's the way it is.
And the difference between Vegas and like Florida is the hotter here is 100, maybe 110, and very dry, but very hot. And there it's 98 degrees, but amazingly muggy, horrible. Mugginess.
I can tell you yesterday that high pressure system must have been sitting right over Orange County, because listen to this little stat. It was actually 3 degrees cooler in Death Valley than it was here yesterday.
What the heck?
What?
What's going on?
Whatever.
And what's your humidity?
Oh, it's low.
It was low? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, that's it. That's your weather report also here from WBNL
Exactly.
Coaching.
Without the weak weather app. Who would have thought?
It's all good.
All right, guys, join us next week for the second part of our team building program. Once again, you can find all of our show notes over at WBNLpodcast.com. This was episode 202. We look forward to seeing you again next week.
Bye now.
Any last words? Just bye now? Okay, bye now works for me.
Bye now.
Be forever wandering.
Let's take on that. That's the best.
There you go.